It's our last session of the day.
I know. How is it possible even?
I don't know.
Went so fast.
Went so fast.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. We're now joined by Kate Gamble. It's going to be a great session. So we've got Kate Gamble, Chief Customer Officer at Omnicom Media Group Australia. We've got John Whyte, who heads up the Data Analytics Partnership ANZ for Google Cloud. Matthew Hammond, Head of Cloud Engineering at TRKKN. That's an amazing title, Cloud Engineering. That's just, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
These three legends are going to be talking about AI in marketing. And what they're doing is they're going to be talking about real solutions for real business challenges. I think on a day-to-day basis, AI is this ethereal concept that is quite concerning on many different levels. We don't quite understand it, but it has very real-world applications, which is what we're going to focus on now. We've actually pre-recorded this session so that that allows Kate, John, and Matthew to be live with us in the chat, in the Q&A, to answer any of your burning questions.
Indeed. So, Kate, John, Matthew, the floor is yours. And dear attendees, jump to the Q&A chat and drop your questions there.
It's at the top there.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us here at SuperSummit. We are super excited to be here. So just a quick note that we actually pre-recorded this session so that we could get everyone in the room together. So that means that we're all available on the chat for you now and free to answer questions and troubleshoot real life situations for you in real time. So let's get some introductions done. First of all, I'm Kate and I'm the Chief Customer Officer at Omnicom Media Group Digital.
Hi, John Whyte. I'm the Head of Data and Analytics for Australia and New Zealand. I'm working with our partner team, Google Cloud.
Hi, I'm Matt Hammond. I'm the Head of Cloud Engineering at TRKKN.
Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about some of the client challenges, common client challenges that I must say I see these every day. Then we're going to talk, John's going to talk a little bit about some of the tech that Google have got. And then Matt's going to give some practical examples of how he's been rolling out these types of solutions for some of his clients over at TRKKN. So one of the first questions that we get a lot is how do we ensure that marketing is getting the credit for the work that we're doing? And of course, it's great that the business gets a conversion, but as a marketing team, it's great to be able to show the business what drove that conversion. There are lots of competing businesses in business units within a business, and those business units all want the sale, whether it's your customer experience team, your sales team, and other parts of the business. And we want to know what was the influence that marketing had on that conversion. So John, what are you guys at Google doing to help marketers tell that story?
Awesome, thanks, Kate. So ultimately, great attribution comes from having enough high quality data and the appropriate tools and techniques to join the dots to tell the story. We can think of the customer journey as a sequence of actions, events over time, across a large number of surfaces. Obviously capturing these moments in time into a data warehouse and then applying advanced modeling techniques like graph, which gives us the idea of like the relationship between things, vector search, which is similarity between things, and then leveraging machine learning allows us to create that visual of what those lead sources are, the touch points that they took along that journey, and most importantly, how those activities contribute to a conversion. Now, one way Google is helping improve attribution is via something called enhanced conversions. This improves the attribution of specific marketing activities, and then that allows us to train models and adjust those to being used thanks to high quality data. On the cloud side, we also have the data storage and machine learning tools to help build that story together. Ultimately, that then allows marketers to be credited for the important steps that they're taking along that journey and those touch points that have had an impact with the client. Matt, I think you've got an example here that you wanted to kind of take the folks through. So I'll flip over to you, and then I think you've got an amazing diagram as well to talk to.
Amazing, thanks, John. Yeah, so one of our key retail clients that we work with was having that challenge where they weren't able to attribute their sales effectively and leads, back to that marketing campaign activity. And so the leads and sales were often being attributed into other areas, or potentially even being, double counted in some cases, as the people like the floor sales teams and so on would often pick those up, and as the customers visited in store. And what this meant was that marketing teams were unable to effectively report or accurately report on the business ROI that they were driving off the back of their marketing campaigns. And if we bring up that diagram, I can talk you through, just at a high level, sort of what we did with that client. So we worked with them to bring all of their marketing data and analytics data and sales data into Google Cloud Platform. We refined that data collection strategy to allow for that data to be more accurately stitched together, so we can actually link everything. And then we utilize a combination of out-of-the-box connectivity tools. So we use Supermetrics. We use some direct data imports to really pull all of that in to Google Cloud Platform. And using this data, we were able to build a user journey path report that helped us to attribute the marketing-led sales back to those marketing campaigns that drove them. So with this, the client was able to better optimize their marketing activity by sending rich signals back into the marketing platforms, and they're all able to more effectively demonstrate the value and ROI of their marketing spend was driving their business.
So, Matt, you're sort of saying there that before you can start to really use the fancy tools, you've got to get the data into the one place, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It helps to have those, once you've got all of that data consolidated sort of in one place, you can then start to clean up that data, organize it into some standardized views. I think one of the really big and common challenges with data is that there's always more than one way to get similar metrics out of reporting. By having all of this, consolidated, centralized, and having a team maintaining that, the clients are able to then, you're able to more effectively then leverage that data and use those insights to make better decisions.
And did the client love it when they saw the reports? What was the feedback?
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely static. I think even the team, the broader teams as well, just the amount of time that they've saved in no longer needing to extract reports manually from 7 different platforms, stick it all together, clean it up, make sure it's accurate, and then the insights that we're driving off of that and the data that we're able to feed back into those marketing platforms has enabled them to do so much more with that data.
It's like it's living the dream. All right, let's talk about the next challenge. So challenge 2, as a marketer, I want to be able to identify which of the customers in my database, my CRM system, that are most likely to convert. And likewise, I want to be able to tell which customers are just they're not in the market right now. So Google and John, you guys are working on this. Tell us what's the latest from a being able to ring fence these important customers and either suppress or enhance the messages to them.
Yeah, for sure. So building on that first area that we discussed around attribution, now that we've got that picture of touch points that matter in the customer journey, we can start to identify those key moments that lead to a conversion event by applying machine learning and ultimately being able to do propensity modeling. Once we have a view of what matters, marketers can then move from a reactive approach to a proactive and guided and personalized offers or interactions with those customers based on intent. Ultimately, the situation is to be able to build and do this in real time. So an example of that would be like when someone interacts with an owned asset like a mobile application while they're in a physical store, they might get a personalized offer surfaced right directly inside of that app at that point in time.
Well, that's pretty much that's isn't that amazing? You're in the store, and then rather than needing to rely on the retail media, you're just using that person's personal device.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few things that start to come together. Like there's obviously location awareness, picked up by the application itself, understanding that the person's in the app, where they're physically located, and combining that with their past history in terms of things that they've been browsing or interactions that they've had. Now you're able to personalize that experience. And, so if they've been browsing for sheets and now they're in the store, then they get an opportunity to see some offers on sheets presented to them, while they're actually there, and, pick up 20% off your favorite pair of, 1,000 count cotton or
How did
sheets.
How did you know, John? Like, I'm in the market. Those sheets of ours are looking pretty. Yeah, my kids they need new sheets, definitely. So, I am
just
that person.
One thing that's important, right, is that the way this actually comes about is the model actually gets connected to an API, and that API is surfaced through the mobile application, and that uses something called Google's Vertex AI endpoints, and that's what allows that real-time interaction. And so you're no longer coming through something that's been scheduled or, batch type transmission, like you've got scheduled emails or you've got scheduled ads rotating through, your owned media or, how you're interacting through paid media. So this is really taking that personalization to the next level, and then, helping meet customers where they are and the things that are really important to them. So Matt's got another example for us to take us through another customer of how they've done this.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, John. So we've been working with Hyundai to develop a proprietary CDP on Google Cloud Platform for them. We've worked with the client.
Matt, so CDP, just give us a rundown. Maybe not everyone knows.
Yeah, sure, Kate. So a CDP is an acronym for and stands for a customer data platform. So we've effectively, it's very similar, I guess, to the earlier case where we've onboarded a lot of the customer and analytics data into BigQuery, but we've then taken that to kind of the next level in the way that we've then applied or utilized that data. And so we worked with Hyundai to onboard them and bring all of that data in. And then two is to develop a propensity model that would help to predict whether a user on the website was likely to purchase based on the way that users are interacting and engaging with the Hyundai website. So with this predictive model, we're able to accurately predict high, medium, and low intent users, and we could use that information as signals that we could, or bidding signals that we could use to adjust strategies accordingly. So through this, we're able to drive better marketing campaign performance, using applied AI effectively.
And how much better was the performance? Did you guys get a sense for what the results were of this?
Yes, we saw significant sort of ROI. We saw very good engagement, I guess, from those who had that high intent. We're also able to use that data to drive better media efficiencies because we could see we had a lot more of those touch points connected, which meant that we could more effectively, suppress audiences who had already purchased, things like that. So again, we could really use the data insights we're gathering to refine and drive better media performance.
I bet the guys at Hyundai were happy with the results. And is this not the standard across their business? Are they building on this in the future? Where to from here?
They're going through a lot of continual growth, but yeah, they've definitely looked at applying this or utilizing this across their stack. So they're not just activating this in one platform. They have activated, data, audience data of varying, levels across their owned channels. So things like SMS and email campaigns, as well as through other platforms. So yeah, been used very widely.
Awesome. All right, let's go on to our third challenge, and probably my favorite challenge, and certainly my favorite solution. This is getting into some pretty cool AI territory now. The challenge is around CX. Now, there isn't a marketer out there who isn't considering CX and how we can do a better job at creating, beautiful customer experiences at every touch point that they go through on the path to conversion. And when we look at this, there's so many different ways that we can start thinking about this. But John, you guys have done some amazing stuff in this space. So talk us through it.
Yeah, for sure. I think we were having a laugh the other day about that situation of waiting on hold for an agent for an hour, only to get through to someone and they're apologizing for having you been on the line for so long, and really it was something that they could resolve within just maybe 5 minutes. So
so true, isn't it? Like, said no one ever, oh, this was great being on hold, loved your music.
Yeah, unfortunately it's that's degrading the customer experience, and especially as we get into busy periods and busy times of the year, like you could expect that load's just going to go up and up. So
it's degrading the customer experience and the staff, I bet, just to go and deal with something that could be simply found on the website, or a very simple, like as a staff member, when you're dealing with these problems, it must just be like, oh gosh.
Yeah, so when I think about it, like understanding what contributes to that good customer experience, that's really changed over time. Feeling valued, respected, helping customers get the answers that they need in the fastest way possible is really just table stakes now. So there's a few different ways that you can see this improvement coming. The first one is like striking the mix between digital versus physical channels. And that's just respecting that some people like to speak to a person over the phone. They might like to interact through email, or they're happy to work with a chatbot or a virtual agent. So pathway number one might be like enabling end-to-end resolution via a digital channel. As I mentioned, a couple of different options through virtual agents or through email, self-service methods. The second pathway might be just improving the quality of information that's available to the customer service team, so they understand the context of why someone's come through the phone, why they're placing that call, what their intent is, and then being able to quickly propose the best resolution. And so an example of that might be, connecting directly to a senior agent with the appropriate authority to offer a discount, an exchange or a refund, because that triage of the case and the reason has already been understood. And
how much more likely are you to get the sale if you're landing the person with the right agent, the right customer service personnel who can provide them with what they're after, or what it's going to take to get them to convert?
Yeah, 100%. And ultimately, the customer's happier, the calls get resolved in a faster period of time, and then ultimately, that net promoter score, whatever the metric is that you're looking at to measure customer success, is starting to increase as well. So if we kind of come back to that first pathway, like virtual agents can be created to handle specialized tasks. And this is done by giving them personas and giving them rules around what they should and should not do. So the first one might be like greeting the customer, understanding the intent. And then the second one, routing that customer to specialized virtual agent that can handle new sales, or maybe it's specialized in handling billing inquiries or customer care events. Importantly, the agents are also enabled with the tools that they need, right? So if you think of information that an agent needs, that's considered a tool. So having the tools they need to help the client. And this is what we refer to as grounding in the AI space. So it could be current customer information. Sorry, what was that?
What was the word? What do you call it?
Yeah, so grounding. So
grounding. Oh, that
So
sounds
basically
really then.
what grounding is effectively, giving the agent the data that it needs to, only tell the truth, and also giving it rules around, what it's not allowed to do. So, for example, the sales agent wouldn't all of a sudden start, referring to billing information because that's not the way that it's been designed. So, examples of grounding would be things like data from the CDP. As Matt talked about earlier, a customer data platform, like who is the customer, where are they located, what kind of products do they have or have they purchased in the past, what sort of resolutions might be available. So are they a high-risk client, therefore you can offer a deeper discount, or they're a low-risk client, so maybe you don't want to offer as much of an incentive to help them through, the reason why they're reaching out. And so all of these things can be really tailored to meet that customer where they are, and also to follow and abide by your organizational policies and controls.
It's like makes everyone's life so much easier.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's all about like uplifting that outcome. So Matt over at TRKKN, you've got another example here for us in terms of how you've helped with CX.
Yes, I do. Thanks, John. So we've been working with a financial services client to really start to leverage AI and improve their customer experience. The other objective there is also to reduce some of their tech and operational costs as well. So we worked with them to develop and deploy an interactive search bar onto the website using Vertex AI. The Vertex AI model, basically it'll crawl the public-facing website, and then it uses a pre-trained data model to index and surface that contextual information back to the users based on what they're looking for. So with this, we deployed it across their website. The clients actually reported a decrease in their chatbot interactions, which is great because it means it's taking some of that pressure off the team that have to go and respond to those questions, and gives them a bit of time back to answer some of those more troublesome and tricky questions.
Matt, it must be that's the first time that any client has ever said, "Oh, it's great, our phones are ringing less."
yes, exactly. I think, and again, it just gives everyone a bit more time back to focus on those really big problems. We saw an increase in that search utilization as the search bar was rolled out more and more. So I think people are quite naturally, finding their way to that search bar and interacting with that, which was really great. With both of those in mind, that sort of represents a good cost savings, given that, there's less time and resource going into that chatbot and more into getting search results. And the customer service team, again, were able to better utilize that time while the customer was getting a better experience.
So, Kate, this is a really good one. Like, if we think about this in terms of what I described, in this case, the grounding is the website content. So that's considered the source of the truth. And the implementation or the agent, the capability was the search bar. And then the impact was, being able to reduce the number of, cases that were going through to agents or through to the chatbot. So I think that's an amazing way to just kind of sum up the structure of how, these technologies can be implemented through partners like TRKKN to help improve that experience and that productivity.
And it's so frustrating as a client when somebody's trying to find, customers are trying to find information. I see this even, we see it in keyword search results where people are putting, your brand plus like a generic question about your business that they're hunting for. Some of those volumes are really quite high. And that people are using Google search to try and find information on your own website. And this sort of stops that process from having to happen by people bringing this great Google search experience onto a client's website. But how hard is it actually to roll out? Like, Matt, this is probably a question for you. Like, what did this financial services client actually need in place before they could roll this out? Was there like a bunch of hoops they needed to cross or like jump through, or like how tricky is it? I think because everybody knows it's great, but like, how hard is it actually?
Yeah, that's what I really did like about using this Vertex AI and Agent Builder was the simplicity of it to build and deploy. I'm a data engineer, not a data scientist, and so to be able to build and deploy a model that's using machine learning and AI quite quickly and easily was one thing, but then as well like the maintenance of that. So things like feeding into the actual model itself to improve the results is also quite simple and quite straightforward. So we could actually input positive type matches. So if we wanted to upweight, for example, a certain response against a certain query, that was quite simple to do. That was something that I found quite interesting and quite useful, was that ability to quite easily refine the outputs from the model to suit the customer specifically or the client specifically.
And is this something then that because we hear a lot about AI hallucinations, and I'm sure clients everywhere are concerned about putting AI at the customer coalface. How does this get around that sort of problem that is happening commonly?
Yeah, I can give maybe a bit of context in that one, Kate. So when you're building the agents, you can, as Matt mentioned, there's a positive or a negative prompt that you can apply. And so you can say, you are an expert in sales, but you are only allowed to answer questions related to sales, and you are not allowed to provide answers about customer care or retention. So you can give it the guidance in terms of what it's not allowed to do. And then if the customer tries to trick it, which we've seen, out in the real world, like 2 + 2 = 5, and the agents all of a sudden go, yes, 2 + 2 = 5. Like you can effectively stop those circumventions from happening. And therefore, what the most important thing there is responsible AI, right? Making sure that you don't have those scenarios that are causing hallucinations and having other things being injected that cause it to go off. So having appropriate controls and having the tooling that makes it easy for the teams to implement that is really important, and that's certainly there in the agent builder capability.
And you probably don't need to remind the AI agents as frequently as you do humans, hey, about what they should and shouldn't be talking about. I could imagine you just tell them once and they remember it. That's been so great. Super interesting use case of seeing how AI is actually being used on regular brands' websites to make that customer experience so much richer. Thanks for joining us, everyone, today. And I think, we just had one little thing for you right at the end as a giveaway. So grab your phones, scan the QR code. This will take you through to a little login page where you can swap your email address for a copy of each of the case studies that Matt's taken you through today, plus some of Matt's tips for how he's gone about implementing some of these Google solutions for actual clients. And there's also a link there that will allow you to drop the case studies and the notes from today's presentation into Notebook LM, which is one of the new AI tools available from Google. This tool is going crazy, isn't it, John? Is everyone just loving this?
Yeah, absolutely. If you jump on YouTube, there's just so much praise, I guess, for this tool. I think the killer function of the app is that it will summarize, different content that you've given it. And so in this particular case, we're just really encouraging all of the attendees to jump in we're going to give you the content. You can download it, upload it yourself into Notebook LM, and actually ask it to make a podcast of the material that you've heard about today. So,
and it actually is two AI voices talking to each other about the content, like having a full-on deep dive discussion. They might even do a better job than we did, guys.
Well, let's hope not. We all still want to have our jobs, but it is an absolutely amazing resource.
I don't mind, to be honest. Public speaking has never been my favorite thing. So if the AI can do it better, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, so give that a go. And again, Kate and Matt and the Supermetrics team, thanks for having us here today. It's been a real pleasure.
Great to be here. And over to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Matt, Kate and John. That was a fantastic session. I really liked how, as we said at the top, AI is being able to be integrated and improve processes internally to solve challenges like call centers, chatbots, the improvement of marketing effectiveness as well. So I think that was a great session. And as usual, the chat is being absolutely fantastic, and there's some great questions in Q&A. We'll share all these materials with you after the session, and we'll also be answering questions that you have as well. So keep them coming, please. So last chance to share your feedback. We're going to keep on holding these Super Summits on an annual basis. We want to make sure that the content we deliver to you is relevant, it's on topic, it slays. Okay, Nora did it again. So if you could fill out, the feedback form just here, click on that, and then just sort of do that, and then we'll announce the winners of our giveaway. What are we giving away, Nora? Epic prizes.
Food delivery vouchers to your country's delivery company.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So the link is in the chat right now. We'll announce the winners shortly.
Indeed. Once we give you a minute or two to fill the form, now is a great time to introduce our Supermetrics community. So we've launched a Supermetrics community a while ago. And this is a place where you can connect with a diverse group of industry experts, level up your knowledge about data-driven marketing, get access to an exclusive events, and much, much more. So we'll play a quick video to showcase one of our top community members and why they love Supermetrics so much.
I'm very excited about the community. That's also why I'm here today, I would say, to maybe in my very own small way promote it a little bit, because I had to change agency to basically learn about new use cases. I mean, as marketers or as advertisers, I mean, we're always so busy with like optimizing our campaigns or working on our activities, and maybe we don't have a lot of time to explore by ourselves new ways of using a tool like Supermetrics. And in reality, if we would just share between us, like if not just within a single agency, but just as a community of Supermetrics users, I mean, that could just benefit all of us, of course. I'm sure there's so many more use cases that maybe we're not aware about and that others are using, and that could make our work easier and faster and better. So I think that's why the community is very important. I'm very excited that you're promoting this.
Wow, what a day it's been, Nora.
I know. It's been exciting.
It's been
very
quite cool.
Exciting.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you, everyone. We've had a great lineup of speakers, and at least I enjoyed it a lot. I really hope you did.
Yeah, loved it.
And you listeners there also did. Yeah,
I just want to extend a huge shout out and thanks to everyone, to our speakers, our partners, the attendees, everyone in the chat, or this way, the chat. It's been fantastic. We've absolutely loved it. And we hope you found value in this as well. Cool.
Before we wrap up, there is one last bit of excitement left. We are announcing the winners of our feedback giveaway.
Feedback giveaway?
Yeah. So, Byron, do the honors.
We'll have those very soon. We have Georgia S from Australia. Congratulations. Rowan B from Australia.
Oh,
And Keen S from Singapore. So you'll be receiving the vouchers shortly. And once again, thank you everyone for the opportunity to be with you today.
indeed. With that said, final thanks for everyone for spending time with Supermetrics today. Recordings will be sent to you via email, as mentioned before, and we really hope you enjoyed SuperSummit 2024.
So until next time, keep measuring, keep learning, and just keep on growing. Have a great afternoon and evening. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
It's been
you.
great.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.